Welcome everybody to our webinar this afternoon. We'll get things started in a couple of minutes. We'll just allow a few more to join, and then we will get our webinar underway. Again, welcome everyone for joining the NinjaOne Bluechip webinar this afternoon. We're so glad that you could join us, as this afternoon we're going to discuss the importance of delivering security fundamentals with NinjaOne. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. Just in terms of introductions and today's agenda, my name is Peter Pisaniello. I'm here the product manager for all our MSP products, such as NinjaOne, one of the great, amazing tools that we have on offer to share with you to help your business grow. And today we're going to discuss, as I mentioned, how NinjaOne can help you with that aspect of security fundamentals. And I have here with me MJ from NinjaOne, who's the Director of Sales for Asia Pac, and he will be running through this webinar with us. So as mentioned, we're going to talk about the fundamentals, the importance of a layered approach to endpoint security, and how you can use your existing tools to deliver those security fundamentals. And then we'll see it in action. We'll have a bit of a demo of the product, of the platform, and then we'll have a Q&A section, and then lastly but not least, we'll have our giveaway, the gift card giveaway for the prize draw that we're giving away today. So please stay on, and also you'll also receive an Uber Eats voucher for joining us over lunch. So without further ado, I'll hand over to MJ, who will walk us through our webinar this afternoon. And feel free to ask questions in the chat box if you have, as we go along, and we'll do our best to answer them as we go. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Pete. So good day, everyone. So as Pete said, my name is MJ Rabatham. I'm the Director of Sales for the APAC region for NinjaOne, based in our Sydney office. And yeah, let's kind of get in here. So Pete, next slide, please. Okay. Perfect. That's probably a better looking version of me, a little bit less mustachioed, but that's all right. So today's agenda, what we'll be doing is we'll be talking about just some security fundamentals, more focusing on the endpoint, as Ninja is an endpoint management company. We'll talk about the importance of having a layered approach to endpoint security, how you can use your existing tools to develop security fundamentals, and we'll kind of culminate everything with a bit of a demo just to kind of see everything in action. So next slide. Perfect. So look, I think we've all kind of been under this notion that Hollywood's kind of painted for us that, this is what hackers actually look like, right? Probably sitting in a dark room, probably 3 or 4 screens, a lot of different, bright colored fonts and everything. This is how we all think that hackers get hacked, right? But if we go to the next slide, the reality is that it's really not that case at all. It could be someone at the coffee shop, middle of the day, or in this case, it could be just a macro being sent via an Excel file, someone clicking into it, and then having that be the vector into something that's probably not good for any type of organization. So if we look at some of the, on the next slide, if we look at some of the more recent events that have happened, we're trying to keep everything outside of NZ because I think we've all really been we've been keeping up with the news on some of the players out here and what's going on. But if you look at some of these incidents that have happened, the Colonial Pipeline hacked. That was all due to an inactive account without MFA. I think we all know MFA is very tedious just to deal with, trying to log into everything that we have, but it is a very secure thing to have, right? If we start looking at the Iris Healthcare services, there was an attack traced to a malicious Excel file. Lockbit ransomware gang gained access to the US government via an exposed RDP. And Acer, who I'm sure you've got clients who are using Acer, they had a ransomware demand, and that was all done via an unpatched Exchange vulnerability. Now, a lot of these, like clearly Ninja can't do, but we do kind of like sit in the realm of everything, right? And if you start coupling, some of these things that are happening with real life examples, and you start looking at the Essential 8, there are very clear things that have been outlined, which we will cover off in different avenues on this presentation, that you can start taking advantage, or you can start working towards today, just to make sure that your clients are going to be protected as well as they need to be. So next slide, Pete. So now if we start looking at endpoint security, we like to really think about security for the endpoint as more of like an onion approach, right? So there's going to be multiple layers that kind of, bring together like a full security posture. And each layer does offer their unique, kind of capabilities as we kind of go out there. So at the core, what we have is we've got endpoint visibility, and this is really where Ninja kind of fits into a lot of these things. But at its core, NinjaOne, endpoint visibility is probably one of the things that we do really well. We do have an agent that sits on every device, and from there, we're actually able to pull quite a lot of visible, useful information, just to give you the assurance that either a device is going to be up to date or pretty much not, right? If you can't see what's on the devices that you're managing, or if you don't even know what devices you're managing, that's going to be a little bit of a difficult journey on the security side of things. Now, from there, we kind of go into device hardening, and we will go into more details throughout this presentation here. But device hardening, this is one of those that you could be at a cafe, someone could come in and slip in a USB drive into your device, and if you don't have that USB port disabled, there could be something bad that happens there. So that's going to be the next thing. Once we know what's on the device, are we actually hardening the device on the outside for any type of physical type of events? And then from there, we'll peel back into the patch management. So patch management, not only for OS but for third-party patching, these are on the Essential 8. And I will show you a little bit about what that looks like through the platform here. Now, from there, we do have our security applications, which Ninja, again, is not a security company, but we still can be able to monitor for those specific applications that might be in your tech stack for any of the devices that you're managing. Think about your antiviruses, anything else, like maybe a MFA, being able to know that they're installed correctly and to make sure that the services are up and nothing bad's happening to those services. Those are things that you can use with a tool like Ninja. And lastly, we do have backup as well too. Backup with Ninja, it is file folder and image backup, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. But being able to have business continuity is an important thing. It's one of those that a lot of people don't know that they've been hit by any type of attack until it's already done, and that's an issue, right? We can do all that we can to fortify our organizations, but if something bad does happen, is there a plan in place to have that business continuity to keep on going? So what we'll do next is we'll go to the next slide and kind of peel this onion from the inside out. And kind of just go into a little bit of detail on how Ninja can actually help out. So getting complete visibility. So all of these little like pop-up things on the right-hand side of your screen are actual screenshots from what we have inside of the Ninja platform. As we can see quite a bit of what's going on the devices, and we can put specific monitors up in place, we'll be able to know exactly when things happen in real time, and we'll be able to notify you on whatever channels that you need, whether it's email, SMS. We do have webhooks, so if you have Teams or PagerDuty or anything like that, we'll be able to kind of be able to see what's going on there. So first and foremost, I know we'll get a little bit more into patching, but that top bit right there, that's going to be a failed patch. It is red, so it is a sign of concern. That is something that is not doing what needs to happen. And we'll talk a lot more about patching in a second here. But we can also monitor for just user kind of behaviors, right? So if someone was locked out of their device, which is an event ID 4740, this is one of those that we kind of want to know what's going on. Start thinking about brute force attacks and seeing this pop up multiple times on a device, that could cause an alert for us to actually take necessary action or actually get on that device and see what's going on. Now, if it is in your practice to have BitLocker enabled on any of your devices, being able to know if it's disabled, that's going to be something that is probably something you kind of want to look into. So we do have the ability to at least let you know, hey, look, what's happening there, what's going on, and what do we need to do to remediate it. Now, the last example, this is an interesting one because I am a bit of a nerd and I do like watching scammer payback videos on YouTube. And I see this time and time again where people call in thinking that they're calling into like Microsoft support, maybe McAfee support because they got an email saying you've got an overdue payment or something like that, or they charge the credit card, and what they do is they ask you to download AnyConnect or Log Me In or one of those free types of remote access tools. And the thing about this is that Ninja can actually monitor what software is on a device and let you know if the software is not on the approved tech stack to give an alert, because they could be falling victim to one of these types of threats, right? So not only are you protecting the actual user themselves, but you're also protecting the organization, because we all know that users are the greatest vector for anything coming in due to not being up to date with anything that's going on in the cyber world. So if we go into the next slide, the next piece of this is going to be endpoint hardening. So what we do have right here is we do have this link right here. You would have to fill out a form, but don't worry, it's just going to come to Bluechip and Ninja right here. But this is actually a fantastic piece of collateral that we put together, and it really just kind of goes into what are the things that we want to make sure that we're doing to harden these endpoints. So being able to migrate vulnerable legacies. So think about your SMP1s, some of the other kind of legacy tools that are out there. Being able to mitigate that, that's going to be a very important thing right there. Hardening operating systems, not only just outside of patching, but just making sure that nothing can really kind of get in. Being able to lock the doors in any way possible. We do also want to lock down the account, maybe not give admin privileges to any of your clients, because they could be getting into the device and kind of exposing it into different backdoors in different ways. Also locking down the actual device itself, being able to disable any type of USB drive, CD-ROMs, or pretty much anything along those means. And then just lastly, being able to harden your applications. So I probably can't do justice to what this documentation is, but maybe what we can do while I'm actually presenting is we can pop this in the chat, the link in the chat, or we'll get it out in an email afterwards, because it is a very important thing to have just in your back pocket. So next slide.
Sure, yeah, we'll have that in the handout at the end, not a problem.
Perfect. So cool. So the next slide is patching everything. I mean, I'm probably preaching to the choir over here that patch management is everything, and this is our single most important job that we have as MSPs. But I mean, it is one of those that, as we saw, not being able to patch Exchange servers, or just opening up doors due to vulnerabilities. It's got to be top of mind. Just a fun little fact for everyone, back in 2021, there were about 20,000 known CVEs that Microsoft put patches out for. So these are known vulnerabilities that there were active patches for. So being able to have something that works when you need it to work in a timely manner and when you want it to, and then also being able to automate it, that's going to be something that's pretty important as well too. So I'll show you what the setup looks like for the patching, not only for OS, but for third party, but being able to identify known vulnerabilities. I mean, one thing that we could also do as well too, and this is a bit of a suggestion, is to, if you're not already a part of them, is to look out for some communities. There are some online communities where you can actually go in. I think MSP Geek is one of them. We had to do a little bit of different things over here, so I don't have the full list in front of me. But there are communities that are out there just so that we can be up to date with any type of very severe, critical, important patches that we need to be able to patch pretty much immediately. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways to actually do that inside of the platform here. But being able to patch OS and third-party patches, any type of drivers, any type of firmwares, being able to remediate critical vulnerabilities immediately. I mean, that's got to be the biggest job for you. I think, with MSPs and, I guess all of us pretty much on the line, our brand's probably the most important thing that we have. And to be up to date with everything, to make sure that everything's done correctly in a timely manner, and ideally to mitigate any type of risk for any of our clients. That's got to be the biggest thing that we're always trying to do, right? So automations are going to help. Having a plan in place to make sure that these patches can go out for something that is critical and severe. That's going to be something as well too. And then also being able to report back on how the patches are going, right? Being able to give proof to your clients that, hey, look, like we have patched all of these different devices. These are the different patches that we've done, and we've kept you up to date. Like that's just one of those that kind of reaffirms the work that you're doing for the client, because to them, they're probably just seeing some annoying little pop-up saying, oh, I got to reboot my device. But in the back end, you're actually doing a lot of work to make sure that their security is keeping as up to date as possible. So next slide. And lastly, or I think it's lastly, I can't remember what number we're on, but deploying security applications. This is one of those that, with Ninja, we do have the ability to run scripts to make sure that things are going to be installed correctly and when you want them to. We do have a native script, so we do have a script that is an install application script that you can use. We do have the ability to do custom scripts where it is a basic, just basic pure languages, Batch, JavaScript, PowerShell, Shell script, and VB script. Being able to know that you can push these things out if you do have a license key or anything like that. That is some assurance that you can have as long as the devices are online and can access the internet. We do have integrations with a couple of different antivirus vendors that are out there. So we've got the Defender SDK. So think about that as your anti-malware built directly into the product. We've got the ability to, or we're coming up on the ability to have an integration with Gravity Zone. SentinelOne is one of those that should be coming up live any day now. I'm just waiting for the final little tick of approval from the product management team. But amongst the others that are out there, we do have the ability to run custom scripts to make sure that antiviruses are going to be up to or be deployed correctly. And we do have monitors that we can check to make sure that the AVs are going to be online correctly or on the device. The services are not going to be off. I think that's what I'm trying to say right there. And we can also have reports letting you know what percentage of the devices that are out under management do have AV that's on there, and is it on the approved tech stack that we do have as well too. So next slide. The next slide, last one, is going to be backup. That's what it is. There we go. So back up everything. So, business continuity is a massive thing. I've seen stats from previous lives that, any type of like ransomware event could cost the business $10,000, up to and including the new legislation that's getting brought up to the government, where they're trying to fine organizations more than they used to, especially in recent events. It is a costly thing for any organization if anything bad were to happen. So with Ninja, we do give you the ability, as I said, to have file folder and image backup, being able to quickly go in the same platform to see when all of your backups have happened, be able to do a bare metal restore on any device to make sure that employees can get up and running. I mean, that's a big thing right there. Now, if you don't have a backup product, I mean, Ninja is a really good one. So I'm not just biased on anything, but if you do want to put this kind of in your client's hands, or if they don't want to take your backup, really think about your brand at the end of the day, right? If anything bad does happen and they don't choose your backup, and then they want to get really mad at you and want to either like fire you or take legal action because the backup wasn't there, like start thinking about ways that you can put in place to protect yourself. Backup is one of those that, yeah, it's an extra cost, but business continuity and the cost of not being able to do the business is far greater than an extra extra line item for your offering. So being just biggest thing is have a backup or a backup plan. And that's going to be the biggest thing right there. So next slide. Perfect. So pretty much what we'll do is let's dive into the platform here. I know we've got about 40 minutes here, and we'll leave a little bit of time for some Q&A. But we're going to cover off a lot of this stuff throughout the platform. It is a demo, so when things do happen in the demo environment, so I'll try to keep it as relevant as possible for everyone. But we'll be able to see all the visibility that you can get inside of Ninja. We'll talk about different types of hardening steps that we can do on the endpoints. Definitely spend a lot of time on the patching, and yeah, we'll kind of just get in here. So Pete, if you want to pass over the ball to me, we'll
Okay.
get this going.
Switching over to you.
Perfect.
Excellent.
All right, and you can see my screen okay?
Yes, very good.
Perfect. All right, so I guess just for those who haven't seen the Ninja platform, this is our multi-tenant view right here. So all of these organizations, these can be any of your different clients right here, right? And just right off the bat, we're actually able to get a lot of visibility into, what's going on in any particular organization, such as seeing any failed patches or maybe any pending third-party or OS patches, seeing all those alerts that we are kind of talking about earlier with the visibility that you can get inside of Ninja, seeing any type of servers that have been down or even devices that need reboots, right? But when we actually click into a particular organization, the view does change slightly. So we'll actually see a lot more visibility of these different devices, such as the name. If I hover over this info badge, we do have a lot of useful information about this device. And even if I needed to take any type of actions on any of these devices, I can quickly go into and click into this and actually take just immediate steps without drilling into an actual device. But the first thing that I'll do is we'll go into this device right here. And, there's going to be just a lot of information because the agent does live on the device, right? But on this page right here, and of course I go into one that doesn't have what we need right here. We'll go into Dr. Walsh's special workstation right here. Perfect. So if we kind of drill in to the bottom right here, we can see a lot of information such as, when was the last OS scan, when was the last install right here. So being able to see that this is going to be a very powerful thing right here. If I knew that, it's already been over a week since the last scan or since the last install, that's probably an issue. So I guarantee you the next scan is probably going to happen sometime today. But it is one of those to be able to know exactly when scans happen. That's going to be an important thing right there. Now, if we keep
MJ,
on this page right here. Yeah.
Sorry, MJ, there was just a question in the question box. It just says, Is this tool primarily targeted at MSPs?
So it can be for MSPs, but we also can sell to intern or any organization that does have an internal IT staff. So kind of both routes right there. Pretty much anyone who needs to manage any devices, that's what Ninja is there for. And we've got different routes to market for that.
Thanks, MJ.
No worries. So cool. So the next thing that we can do as well too is we can see if the TPM status is either detected or not detected. So if you do have a trusted platform module, we can actually see that directly on this page right here for you. Now the thing with Ninja is we do have this idea of custom fields. Now, custom fields are things that we can either hard code into any of our devices that are inside of the platform here, or what we can do is we can actually have scripts run on the device, pull information, and actually pop them into our customs fields. This is really good for things that are kind of changing on the go. Kind of show you a couple examples as we get in here, but these custom fields would look blank if you actually got in here. So this has been really done up by our internal team over here. But I know if I scroll down right here, this is going to be an example of one of those things that we can do on any given device. So if we were to be able to have a custom script to be able to change or give like a unique local admin password via script, we do have the ability to actually store that inside of the platform right here. Now, for security reasons, we do keep this, hidden right here. So, if someone's kind of looking in who's not a technician, we can kind of do this. But if we do want to see anything, Ninja's got MFA that's built throughout the whole product, so we can kind of get in here. I clearly do not have access. I think they're restricted me on this right here. But with MFA, we would be able to see what the password is for X amount of time, and we do have the ability to copy this. Again, MFA is in there, but that's one of those things right there. But if we wanted to kind of take a look on the device, kind of getting into like the hardening of the device, we can use those scripts to actually tell us who the local users are on this device and let you know exactly who is in here right here. I thought that there was one for local admins as well. Oh, so local admins was, I don't think there are any local admins on here, but pretty much all of this is via scripting, and we're actually able to kind of view what's on the device and just get an idea for what's happening to see if there are any extra vectors that could actually affect anything on this device right here. Now, if we go back over to the overview tab over here, let's see if we do have any alerts on this device. Looks like we do have a couple right here. So what we're able to see here is we've got an alert for BitLocker that has been disabled on this device. So inside of Ninja, any type of alerts, we do have the ability to either reset them, or we can create a ticket inside of the Ninja ticketing solution. Probably won't talk about that today just because it's a little bit off topic here, but we do have a ticketing solution that's built directly into our product here. So this is, really one of those kind of notification things that we can do. I'll show you how to actually get the alerts to wherever you need, whatever mechanism or notification channel you need. But that is something. This is where it lives on the device level right here. Now for the third-party patching, it looks like we got a couple that are going on right here. What I can do is I do have actions directly on this page to either approve this patch either on the device or on the policy that it's a part of. Now, we will spend a little bit of time on policies. Policies are really kind of the brains of Ninja. Every device inside of Ninja has a policy, and inside that policy, we can set up our alerts, we can do our patching, and we can also do a bit of automation in there. So if an alert does happen, what type of scripts can we do to help mitigate whatever that issue is on that device right there. But since we were talking about Bitdefender, what I'll do is I'll quickly go into another device, and I'll show you how easy it is to actually pick up the recovery key inside of Ninja. Now, if I were to drill into the details page on this device over here, what I can do is I can go down to the disk volume section right here. And what we'll see down here is we've got the BitLocker status is enabled. And we've got these little stars that are right below that. Now, Ninja, I'm pretty sure you could, turn on Bitdefender or BitLocker through Ninja. That goes above my knowledge right there. But what we can do just for easy recovery is just click on the stars, and we've got the recovery key popped up right here, where we can quickly copy this and send it out to recover any type of device that's out there. Now, another thing that we can do in terms of security is, Ninja does have the ability to take a look at network devices. So NMS devices, or pretty much anything that's using SNMP, we can do quite a number of different things on those different devices. If you wanted to take a look at, some of the switches, for any on-prem Cisco and HP switches, Ninja does give you the ability to actually do a configuration backup directly in the platform. So just a couple different places where you can actually make sure you do have everything set up, so that way again you can get businesses back up to where they need to be should anything bad happen. But what Ninja also provides is we do also have NetFlow, JFlow, and SFlow collectors that are built directly into the product, and you can pretty much monitor any traffic that's going through any of those appliances. So if you wanted to see any specific conversations that were going on right here, we can see the name, the traffic that's going in, and the percentage of the usage across this actual appliance. If there are particular applications that you kind of were suspecting might be being used on the network, being able to kind of go in here, checking what application it is, and again, what layer 4 protocol that it's using, we'll be able to kind of see what's going on there. If there are particular domains, this is clearly a demo account right here because this device doesn't use that often, but we would be able to see all the different, oh, this is for the last hour. So maybe if I pull it back for a month, there we go. We will be able to see a couple different domains. So being able to see, TeamViewer, for example, what the source is, what the destination is. What ports is it actually utilizing right here? You'll be able to kind of see all this information in here. We can also see the interfaces as well too. So it looks like there are none in here, but being able to just have this extra layer of kind of visibility, not just on the or just on the network, is something that's pretty useful to kind of have right there. Now, one thing that we can do as well too is we can do custom SNMP. So normally if custom SNMP, if we did have specific monitors or for specific OIDs, they would show up at the bottom here. Unfortunately, our demo account doesn't actually have anything that's actually been done up, but if there are very particular things that you wanted to see if an interface was off or up or down, or maybe it was like a specific switch ports that had some type of something plugged into it that it wasn't supposed to, or maybe there's a change in VLAN or something like that. You'd be able to get visibility on this detail page right here, and we can also set up alerts to make sure that you and your staff actually know anything that is going on these particular network devices right here. So what I'll do next is we'll kind of go into a bit of Active Directory. So I got to go find a Active Directory domain controller. To do that, what I will do is I'll just go into the search button, click on Active Directory, domain controller, and here we've got our AD server. So I think a very important thing is to make sure that we do have every single device inside of Ninja. And one tool that we have built directly into this product is being able to leverage our Active Directory domain controller and making sure that we can do a discovery job. And inside of here, I think they just turned this off overnight, which is pretty unfortunate, but there is an option on this under this play button where we can actually utilize our domain controller to pretty much send a probe out to check to see if any devices that are on the domain don't have the Ninja agent on there. And what we can do is we can actually schedule a time for the domain controller to push that Ninja agent out to make sure that we do have every single device inside of Ninja to, again, be able to see and leverage all the tools that we have right here. Now, another thing that we can do is under Active Directory, we do give you basic user management through this platform. You can easily do this through an actual active domain controller, but just being able to stay in the same platform to alleviate logging into multiple different portals and kind of getting into the weeds with everything, we can do very basic things inside of here, such as disable a member, reset the password, required to change the password on any given device. Again, I think we all know that users are probably the #1 cause for anything bad to happen, or the biggest vector for any type of security risk. So to be able to do things on the fly, if you were to suspect anything bad were to happen on any given device, we do give you that option directly in here. So I think that'll cover off most of what the endpoint actually looks like. So we'll kind of take a step back a little bit, and I'll kind of show you a little bit of the configuration on how we can actually see some of these or set up these alerts, how we can do the patching and so on. And as I mentioned earlier, everything's going to be, all the brains are going to be inside of what we call our policies, which it is a one-to-one mapping for a policy to any given device here. So to get to our policies, all we got to do is click on an administration, and then we'll go under our policies right down here. Now we do have agent policies, so you can think about these as your Windows, Mac, and Linux devices. And we do have NMS policies as well too, where you can actually get into notifying for any type of SNMP traps, or if you wanted to monitor a specific custom OID for SNMP, we can do that. You can also set up your configuration backup and also be able to monitor any type of network performance, whether it's across an HTTPS, DNS, specific ports, or anything like that. But on the agent policy, to get started, I mean, you would have, a couple of these native policies, which are pretty much denoted by these houses right here. So they will be broken up in between your Windows, Mac, and Linux, and then from there broken up into your workstations and servers. We do give you the ability to do parent-child relationships in between these policies. So if you wanted to baseline all of your native policies with, just as our standard offering right here, you can pretty much copy those policies over and then make fine-tuned changes to meet whatever your client's needs are. So we'll go into this home workstations right here. And really the first page right here is going to be our conditions page. And this is really where we're going to set up a lot of different monitors to set up those alerts that I've shown you earlier. If you don't really know what's going or what to actually pop into the monitors, I mean, the way that I like to describe it is, conditions are one of those that are going to start off small, but as you start seeing things kind of reoccur, set up an automation. That's always my rule of motto. I didn't even like writing the same emails more than 3 times a day before I start putting that into a signature. But if you do need help getting started, we do have templates that you can use directly right out of Ninja. So some of these can be, your antiviruses, being able to know if Sophos, any of your services, if this is your a part of your tech stack, we can monitor preset conditions to make sure that if Sophos goes out, you're going to get alerted. And then if we need to resolve it via either scripting or logging in through a remote access session to make sure everything's going to be on for a particular user, we'll be able to do that for you. But just to kind of show you what this looks like, if I go down under Sophos, this is a pre-canned condition all right here, right? So this should cover off pretty much everything inside of Sophos if this is a part of your offering. And from there, we do have the ability to give you some scripts to run on the back end. Now, Ninja does give about 80 different scripts right out of the box. So 30 or so will be on Windows, about another 30 on Mac, and then 20 on Linux. But clearly, you do have the ability to either import scripts in or actually build scripts in our script builder. Once they're in your library, you can use them on a device level or through your policies right here. But you'll be able to use them throughout the whole platform, which is a very important thing. Now, some other things that we could do as well too is we can kind of create these on the go. So the conditions that we can monitor for on any given device are going to be pulled up right here. And a lot of these can be used in many different ways, right? If you did have any clients that had some servers, some RAID servers, and you wanted to check the health status and see if there was anything, kind of abnormal with the RAID health status, we can get alerted based off of it meeting any of these criteria right here. Let's say that there was a particular Windows event ID. Let's say that for, what was it, 4740 right here. Actually, I accidentally popped this in the wrong place. So we can pop this in for event ID right here. And if this was our AV stopped, for example, anytime we were to see this event ID pop up on the device, we'll spit out this text for you and your text to know that, hey, look, the AV stopped. We got to go in and go do something, right? So that's going to be a 1 right there. I know I talked about particular software such as LogMeIn. So what we can do is we can always take a look to see if a particular software does exist. And if this was the LogMeIn right here, if we were to ever see this application on a device, then we can send that notification out to you. What we can also do as well too is we do have Windows services in right here. And let's say that we were using Bitdefender, because this is something that is in our portal right here. If there was a particular service that did go down for any time at all right here, we can apply that as our condition. And what we can do is under our scripts, one of the scripts we give you, a native script, is a Windows service. And since the Bitdefender agent went down, we can have it automatically start back up. So essentially what we're doing is we're creating an if this happens, then this happens right over here. Now we can set up our severities and our priorities. Actually, this would probably be critical and probably super high right there. We can auto reset this condition, so we can kind of closely monitor it if we wanted, or if it wasn't something as massive, we can kind of loosely monitor it by just pulling it out, 12 to 24 hours. But from here, we can actually notify pretty much any of our channels, whether it's a specific email alias, any of your webhooks, maybe SMS, PagerDuty, or anything like that. This is where you can actually set up any of those notifications. Even if you wanted to escalate an issue that's very persistent to some higher engineers, that is something that you can do in here as well too. So while I'm here, I'll kind of just quickly cover off scheduled scripts. There's one schedule in here that's quite useful. And this is really if you start thinking about onboarding different clients and making sure that a device is going to operate in the way that you want it to, as per your managed service agreements. So we do have this schedule right here, which is set to run once immediately, which pretty much means that once the Ninja agent is installed on a device, then it's going to be able to kick off all of these different scripts on the right-hand side. So this can be loading up specific softwares. It could be, doing a little bit of endpoint hardening. So if I wanted to go in here and have my USB, I can disable USB drives to make sure that it is going to operate from day dot when this new employee does get onboarded to operate in that very specific way right there. So this is a very easy way just to make sure that your security stance is going to be up. Think about this as provisioning devices in the easiest, quickest way possible. Now going under your Windows patching, so we do have everything set up, or all the setup's going to be right here. And right under software, we do have our third-party patching as well too. So the setup for both of these are going to be more or less the same in the sense that we'll have our reboot, scan, and update schedules. So we can kind of set up how we want the reboot options to look like if someone was logged in. We do give the ability to force a reboot after X amount of prompts. And we can also, give some type of dialogue saying, hey, look, I know this is annoying, but this is security and we actually need this to happen. So I get this all the time, and actually got it yesterday for my Chrome because we do use Ninja internally. We'll have different options if a user is not logged in. But from here, we will have the times where we want to actually scan for any type of available patches that are out there. And from there, we can set up a schedule for when we want to push those patches out. Now with Ninja, we do give you the ability to do pre and post script executions. So I think this is going to be in our script sharing community. So if anyone does want to get into a trial, you will have access to this community to access some of these scripts. But an easy use case is, hey, look, before the patch updates happen, I want to run a script to disable any power settings to make sure that the updates do go out without any interruption. And then once the updates are actually pushed out to those devices, maybe I'll run another custom script to make sure that we re-enable those power settings, so that way the device is pretty much as it was per normal. Now, everything down below right here pretty much maps directly over to Microsoft. So hopefully everyone is familiar with these 4 categories for the security update approvals. But pretty much for all 4 of these, all of these important and optional packs and updates, even your driver and feature updates, you can choose how you want the patches to go directly in Ninja. So you can choose to auto approve these patches, you can auto reject these patches, or you can set it to a manual state, which means that we either need to approve or reject these patches, kind of like what I showed you earlier on the device level. Now, if we wanted to take a look at approving a patch, for a policy where we're not going on a per device basis, what we can do is we can quickly go into our OS patches and then click on this pending button right here. And it looks like we've got probably 5 different available patches. So we'll be able to show you what the patch is. We'll give you the patch ID. Again, we'll link the KB article directly over to Microsoft and give you the category. And we'll also be able to see, what devices these patches are for, if there was a known CVE right here. And from here, if we wanted to approve them, we can approve and reject them for our policies based off of either the patch ID or KB. And we can reject them in the same manner as well too. Now, if we do reject any patches, we can just go up into our rejected bucket right here, and we'll see all of our rejected patches here. And if we do need to reapprove these, we can approve these right here, and they will be sent out during the next update schedule for that policy that it's attached to. Now, most importantly, we will be able to see all of our failed patches right here. And again, I've already shown you what it looks like to do some type of remediations there. But we will let you know what the status is right here, what attempted to install this patch, and so forth. Now, I do get the question, is there a possibility to preemptively block or approve any specific patches? And the answer is yes. So if we go back under our administration page right here, under the general tab, so the first thing, if we go under patching, we do have the ability to input a specific KB, a description, and then we can choose whether we want to approve or reject any specific patch. Now, anything that's going to be on this page right here will override any of the settings that we have right over here. So, if there was something, I don't know if you'd ever want to reject a critical update, but maybe if it was a bad patch for whatever reason, and you didn't want that, you do have the ability to override this auto approve right here by just selecting or putting in the patch ID or KB number and selecting reject right here. So that's going to be one of those right there. So I guess just lastly on the backup or on the policy side of things, let me just quickly touch up with backup, and then I'll kind of show you just a real life use case on making sure things like Bitdefenders or BitLocker is enabled across any devices. So with backup, everything is going to be automated for you. So we do have the ability to either do a file folder or image backup right here. Since a file folder has already been created here, we'll just quickly go into one of these. So we can pretty much set up our schedule right here, a specific time. We can have our power options right here, like attempt to wake the device if it's sleeping, or maybe I'll just run the plan immediately if it was missed. Maybe someone was off and didn't have their laptop open or something like that. We can go into our revision options right here as well too. So we can either limit the revisions right here. We can trim revisions over X amount of days. So if you do have any clients that have very particular needs on how much data or how long they need data retained for, we can pop that in here. And then we can also remove locally deleted files after X amount of time as well too. Now with Ninja, since this is already done and it's already configured to the cloud, we do give you the option to either have cloud backup, in which we do host everything on AWS, and we do have a local instance here in Australia as well too. But we do give the option to actually back up to a local NAS server as well. And if you really want to, you can kind of do a bit of both and back up to the hybrid. So a mixture of a local NAS and the cloud. For anything local, we would need to specify what the actual path is to that NAS. So that's in a different setting on the organization page, organization setup. But that is something that you can do. We can select our files and folders right here. We can pop in specific filters. And under advanced, we can either include or exclude specific files, such as like a .iso file. We can do that all right here. Same thing for the image side of things. The setup, again, more or less the same. There's no sense in reinventing the wheel if we don't have to. But we can choose what type of partitions we want to back up, whether it's the complete system, maybe it's all partitions, or maybe it's just a specific drive, for example. And again, you can specify where you want the backup to happen. And we do give information if you do anything local right here. So that's going to be a little bit of that right there. Now, I guess just lastly, as a specific use case, for those who do have an RMM solution, being able to search dynamic groups is going to be something that can, easily save a lot of time. And, if we do start putting a little bit of automation in it, it makes your life a lot easier. So this page is a bit underwhelming if you look at it, but it's probably one of like the low-key, like most important and most powerful pages that we probably do have inside of Ninja. And the reason why I say that is because we can pretty much create specific groups for any of our organizations, any location that they may be a part of, maybe specific devices, right, or device types right here, any type of status for these devices, or any of these filters right here. So there's quite a lot that's going to be in here. But maybe what we wanted to do is maybe we wanted to take a look at our BitLocker status right here. And we wanted to see, hey, look, I want to see all devices that don't have or that BitLocker has been disabled for. And maybe I want only my Windows devices. So we'll just do desktops, we'll do laptops right here. So pretty much what we have right here is a dynamic group of 9 different devices that don't have BitLocker enabled on any type of device. Now, what I can do is I can actually save this, and if I do 3 stars and do BL right here for BitLocker, I can save this group right here. And the cool thing is that no matter what I do, that group's going to save. And if I get a new client on board and they don't have BitLocker enabled, this will probably bubble up depending on how many devices are coming in. But the cool thing about this is that when I do go into the load group section right over here, and if I did **BL, that's going to be that group that I just created. These are the same 9 devices because it looks like nothing's changed. And if I wanted to, on a retroactive space, I can actually go in here and I can say, hey, look, like if I do have a script that can enable BitLocker, I want to do that directly from my library, and it's going to run across all of these 9 devices right here. So that's going to be one thing right there. What I can also do is I can also create a scheduled task as well too. Now, a task is going to be one of those that I can set up as an automation to make sure that things are going to be looking, or things are going to be operating the way that I need it to. So maybe this is going to be my BitLocker right here. I can have this repeat on whatever reoccurrence that I want. So maybe this is a daily thing, and maybe I'll do this at 2 p.m. every single day. I can again pop in that script right over here. But then for my target, what we've already done is we've already created a target for these 9 particular devices. But if I wanted to kind of leverage that dynamic group, and I wanted to, make sure that every device that's going to be in that group will have a script to run to make sure that BitLocker is going to be enabled, what I can do is I can just click on Add right here. I can do this on an organization base. Maybe it's on specific devices, and I do not have that group here because I did it a slightly different way. So bear with me 1 second. So if I go into tasks really quick and add a new task, there we go. I do have that ability to actually go in here and load up a specific group right here. In that group, **BL, I can always make sure that any device that falls into this dynamic group will have this reoccurring script run whenever I need it to run. So one of those that, this BitLocker is, a very, very novice example right here, but, if there was anything in your security tech stack that you wanted to make sure was going to be up and running, and you do have the scripts to actually make sure that they're going to be, completely compliant, that is something that we can do inside of here. So I know we've got about 10 minutes left right here. I've been doing quite a bit of talking, so maybe what I'll do is I'll stop presenting, and maybe I'll keep the presentation going, but I'll open it up for any type of Q&As for the last 10 minutes here.
So yeah, any questions, feel free to just ask, whether it be in the chat box or whatever. And I'm just going to paste in the chat box as well the endpoint hardening checklist. So everybody can have that link, and you'll also get it in the as a handout at the end, just in case you want to grab it straight away. And if there's no further questions, what I'll also do is I'll paste in the chat box the trial link, MJ, so everyone's got access to that if they want to get moving and running a trial. So just paste that in the chat box now, and that way you can run a 30-day trial. Oh, here we go. We've got a question. Will there be a recording of the meeting to go back when setting up a trial? I can answer that one. Yes, there will be. That will be part of your handout. And also, once you do get your trial set up, you can also feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help you get onboarded with that trial as well. It's one of the great things about Ninja. Support is free, including onboarding. So one of the great things about NinjaOne. All right. If there are no more questions, we're ready for the fun part. Let's move into the lucky draw. With kindly NinjaOne is giving away a Sonos Arome Bluetooth speaker. So we'll just get our prize draw running and have assistance with that. Here we go. Thanks, Kenneth. We'll give that wheel a spin. And there we go. Congratulations to Elaine. You're our lucky winner of the Sonos Bluetooth speaker. So we'll get that out to you. Congratulations. So that concludes our webinar this afternoon. So once again, thank you for joining, and thank you to MJ. That was a fine presentation on showing us how we can use tools like NinjaOne to really leverage our existing tools that we have to really increase our security and lock down having those multiple layers with what we had, and how really NinjaOne comes to the fore there to help us to do that. So thanks again. So yeah, thank you everybody. Well, like I said, you'll get a copy of the recording and also the great handout. Feel free to grab that link for the checklist and also the trial link to get things up and running. And we thank you for your time. And we'll end the webinar now. Thank you, everyone. Like I said, please feel free to reach out to us at msp@bluechip.com.au. Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Bye for now.